During the second week of the summer, we're going to be talking about type, graphics, color, all in preparatory toward doing the next projects. At the top of the list, usually what I try to do each week is to do some sort of a summary or remind you of what has previously happened. And I've included these PDF files. Now these PDF files represent examples that previously I required students to actually gather and compile and put together in a sample book. So when you open up this, you will see here that it says section such and such from a particular sample book. Okay? And so you don't have to put together a sample book, but these residual files cover the information that you should at least get about that topic. And since we talked about visual communications theories last time, and I mentioned Gestalt theory, here's some examples of how it's being used, or at least demonstrates it with the definition here, and then semiotics, the three different types. Icons, and there's some examples of the icons, indexicals, and some symbols. And so you will want to go through these, and these will be excellent reviews. Now I've also included a new one this week, and there'll be one or two each week from here on out, covering the topics which is to parallel the various sections in the previous sample book, which parallel the actual graphic communications book. And so that's how they tie together. I just want you to extract the information in these PDFs so that you can answer questions and quizzes, and you can apply the terms and the concepts also to the assignments. Now I've included here at the beginning, since you're putting together assignment 1 and it's due this Thursday, remember there's going to be an assignment from here on out every Thursday, so you want to get in that pattern here. And I'll be introducing to you the one that's due the Thursday after. So you'll always be working on something. Now that you're finishing this one up, this is not just a reminder. You want to make sure that you go through this, and this explains basically all your options of putting together your layout. Now I've given some feedback already on those who were early submitters, and so you should look at that. If you want to use InDesign, I've given you some information here about how you can get a hold of the program and install it, and I've even given some templates here if you want to use them. You do not have to. You can put this together any way you can. I'm not so much concerned about your mastery of software as I am that you pick up on the concepts that assignment 1 is trying to emphasize, and that is using your understanding of the model of communicating, message, audience, feedback, noise, channel, all that, and you're using to practice this understanding in the context of a designer. You're doing research on National Geographic magazine, trying to understand their audience, trying to understand what the audience is used to, the format that they use to, and the kind of materials, the kind of copy, written materials that they put together, the kind of images, photos, how they present it in the layout. You're doing all that research and you're trying to mimic it. As you learn and become a little expert on that one topic that you chose, everyone chose a topic, doing some research, pulling some things together, have enough copy, and you're finding pictures, and you're writing captions for the pictures, and you're writing a headline, all that trying to mimic what National Geographic audience is used to. And that's all. I'm just testing your visual perceptions. If you can see what exists and try to match that. All of us basically are consumers of visual messages. We have been doing that all of our life. Most of us don't pay attention to it. We don't even sometimes realize why we don't look at something and why we look at something else. In this course, you're getting introduced to trying to increase what is called your visual literacy. So you see things and say, why does that work? Why doesn't that work? And that's why I'm getting you to take a very close look at National Geographic magazine and say, why does it work? What is their formula? And you're trying to match that. That's really what assignment 1 is about. So this week, the first lesson 7, is about type basics and also about using type creatively. So there is some redundancy here. The type examples that I'm given right here in the section 2 of the sample book, these are very similar to the things you'll see in the videos that I've got posted. You'll see these, in many ways are different shapes and forms. You'll see examples that explain what black letter is, for example, and what a novelty typeface is, and what is a script. And so I've given you examples here, and go through them. This is one of many attempts you should make in trying to get a handle on the basic type terms. So you want to read what I've posted here, you want to look at these very short videos and go through this until you get a pretty good understanding that will help you in the quizzes and also help you to apply them in the assignments that you're doing. Now, this here says exercise 1. This is an extra credit worth 25 points. Please do not avoid something because it's just extra credit. If you've got the time to do it, fine. This is a very simple exercise where you're basically taking a heading and then you're formatting it with type. You're making some decisions on what typeface and what color and what size changes I should make, and what kind of pictures do I try to work in with my headline. And so I would suggest you go through this for extra credit. This information here on creative typography and using type creatively might inspire you and help you to practice a little bit. Now, you're learning a little bit about type and how to use it because type carries the verbal information. And the verbal information, that's how we communicate with words. Even type on a page is visual of words. We think visually, we think in pictures, we communicate with words or verbal information. And so just to get a handle on that. Now, the difference here is that the next activity, which I will introduce in lesson 4, is where you don't use type at all in communicating. But before we do that, we want to get a handle on creating with type and understanding type. Here at the bottom, as usual, things that you must complete. Some heads up here. This Wednesday, you want to make sure you attend the live class session or view the archive as soon after as possible. And then by the end of the week, you have the discussion points due and quiz. From now on, there'll be quizzes due every week. And quiz 1 is now available. There's 10 questions. It's worth 10 points. You can take it twice. And I'm asking you as soon as possible to complete the team forming survey because I want to have some feedback from you so that I can put you guys together as a team and introduce you to the client as soon as possible.